That's it. My guy, man. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about Impact Wrestling for June 3rd, 2021. Now, overall, man, this is a really good show, man. A really good show, man. A lot of great matches on this show. You know, really fun show too, man. Great segments, great matches. They building up towards Against All Odds. Yeah, the women's tag team title match, which is one of the best matches on the show. The Moose versus Sami Callihan match was really good, and the TJP and Josh Alexander match was really good too to open up the show. That second half of that match. But yeah, man, that was Impact, man. It was a really good show, better than last week's show. Last week's show was not good at all, but this week, man, they turned everything around, man. And they need to have more shows like this, man. Like for real, man. And so yeah, so this is the Impact Wrestling review for June 3rd, 2021 on The Ryan Awesome Show. And if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up, man. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you'll be the first ones to know when my next video will come out, because I am here each and every single week. So make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for all notifications. And one last thing, guys, don't forget to be awesome. So yeah, don't forget to be awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So yeah, we started off the show with the Iron Man match. So this is the second half of the Iron Man match. So the first half of the match was on BTI, their pre-show before Impact. I don't know why they have that show, and usually I don't usually watch that show anyway. So the first half of the Iron Man match happened on BTI. So I didn't watch it because I don't watch the pre-shows and all that stuff. So yeah, so this is the continuation of the match. So we had the whole entire Impact locker room. They were at ringside, so they were watching the match against TJP and Josh Alexander for the X Division Championship. And so both of these guys, they're going back and forth, trying to one up each other. And we had an ankle lock. So Josh Alexander, he had locked in an ankle lock to TJP, and then TJP had fought out of it. And we had a detonation kick to Alexander, and he kicked out of the move. And so TJP, he had his finishing move, the Mamba Splash, and Alexander had kicked out. And so TJP, he tried to go for the detonation kick again. And so yeah, when he hit the detonation kick, Josh Alexander, he had countered it into an ankle lock. And then TJP, he had locked in the ankle, not the ankle lock, but the knee bar to Alexander. And then he turned it into another submission move, the inverted figure four leg lock. When the last time you ever seen that move? So yeah, he locked in that move on Alexander. And so Alexander, he had countered into an ankle lock. And so yeah, the time was running out and all that stuff. And so yeah, we were at 4 seconds. And so TJP, while he was locked in the ankle lock, he had rolled up Josh Alexander for the win. Well, not for the win, but for the tie. And so yeah, so both of these guys, they're tied 1-1. And so it's sudden death. And so yeah, both of these guys, they were tired because they just went through 60 minutes of a match. And so yeah, so again, they were going back and forth for strikes. We had a fireman's carry senton bomb to TJP, which was nice. And we had a moonsault to TJP, and he kicked out. And then Josh Alexander hit a power bomb into a backbreaker to TJP. And then at the end of the match, we had Josh Alexander. He went for his finishing move, the divine intervention, that double underhook power driver to TJP to win the match. So Josh Alexander wins the match and is still the X Division champion. Now, on any normal show, I would have put this as the main event, man. But we had the Impact World Championship title scene main event the show. But on any night on Impact Wrestling, I would have this match right here main event the show, man. While the world champion is not here, I'll have this match main event the show. And so yeah, but I see why they didn't put it on the main event. And so yeah, TJP and Josh Alexander, man, they are great wrestlers, man. So I'm not surprised that they had a great match tonight. They have great chemistry. You know, they know each other really well. And so that's why it turned out to be a great match, man. And so yeah, that was it with the match. And right after the match, we had a backstage segment with Don Callis and the Good Brothers. That's Doc Gallows and Karl Anderson. They spoke about, you know, Moose and Sami Callihan. And so yeah, you had this camera person who was secretly recording them. And so the Good Brothers and Callis had saw the cameraman recording them. And so they kicked out the cameraman, or they were chasing after the cameraman, telling them to get out of here and all that stuff. And so, yeah, that was it with that. So they had a plan to take out Moose and Sami Callihan. And so, yeah, right after that, we had the X Division champion, Josh Alexander. He was backstage and he spoke about his match, his title defense against TJP. And, you know, Josh Alexander, he was beaten up, man. He had scars all over his face. It looked like he had a black eye. And so, yeah, so Alexander was there. Yeah, TJP, he was there. Eddie Edwards was there. And, you know, Scott D'Amore was there. And so Alexander and TJP, they paid respect to each other and all that stuff. And so Scott D'Amore, he congratulated both guys on a well match. And so, yeah, so Alexander, he had spoke. He said that, you know, I'm the champion around here. You know, Kenny Omega, he's the world champion. He doesn't even show up every week. Now that Kenny Omega is not here, that means I'm the king of the mountain. I'm the X Division champion. Since the world champion is out here, I'm the king of the mountain. And if anybody wants a championship match, if anybody wants a championship opportunity against me, I'm taking all the challenges. I'm taking all challengers. So whoever you are, step up to me. And so yeah, right after that he left, and then you had Chris Bay. He had came in and asked for a championship match to Scott D'Amore, and then you had Ace Austin came in and interrupted with Madman Fulton. You had Trey Miguel came in and interrupted, saying that he deserved a championship match. And, you know, Petey Williams was there too. And he said that he wanted a championship match and that Josh Alexander promised him a championship match. And so, yeah. Scott D'Amore, he was there too. And so he just left. He just left as all these guys were arguing with each other. And so he was like, I'm going to let you guys handle it. I'm going to let you guys handle it for yourself. And so, yeah, that was it with that. And, yeah, so my question is, why wasn't Brian Myers there? Why wasn't Brian Myers there? Because he deserved to go after the championship. But he wasn't there. And so, yeah, right after that, we had a tables match. We had Rohit Raju versus Jake something. And so, yeah, this match right here, it was a must-win for Jake, man. He had to win this match. So, yeah, both of these guys, they were going, you know, going back and forth, trying to one-up each other. We had a running boot to Jake. And then Raju, he grabbed chairs, you know, for running the ring. And then Jake, he started fighting back with strikes. And he had a discus clothesline to Raju. And then Raju hit a double foot stomp to Jake's back. And we had chair shots to Jake. You know, Jake chair shots to him and in his arm. And we had a crossface submission move to Jake. And we had a corner running strikes. A series of running corner strikes to Jake. And so, yeah, so this was all Raju. He took control of this match. And so, yeah, we had a cannonball to Jake in the corner on a chair. And so Raju, he actually hurt himself off that move that he hit. And so, yeah, so Raju, he had tripped up Jake into a chair that was in the ring. And we had a running knee to Jake. And so, yeah, both of these guys, they were fighting on the ring apron. And so Raju, he had hit a low blow to Jake, which is legal. And so Raju, he had hit a DDT on Jake on the ring apron. And so Raju, he trips up Jake on the top rope because Jake was trying to go for a top rope move. And so Raju, he had a diving double foot stomp to Jake's back through the chairs that was sitting in the ring. And so we had Jake, he had his finishing move, the black hole slam to Raju. And then he had another black hole slam. And then, yeah, so Raju, he got back up and he had like a chair in his hand and he had threw it right at Jake's head. And the chair had hit him, like the chair hit him right in his head. It didn't hit him all the way, but it hit him in the head. And so, yeah. So he threw the chair at Jake's head. And so Jake, he had speared Raju in the corner through the table. So Raju went through the table. So that means that Jake something wins the match. And that was it, man. You know, it was good. The match was fine. You know, and it was a must-win for Jake. A must-win for him. If he lost this match, I would have been like, man, Jake is a loser, man. He's a loser. But he did not lose tonight. And so I'm glad that he didn't lose Because if he would have lost, I was like, man, I would have been like, man, what is the point of him being there? Like, what is it that he's gonna do? But he won tonight. Now, what's next for him, man? That's the question. What's next for him? Send him after the X Division title, man. Send him after the X Division championship. Have him contend. Have him contend for the X Division championship instead of having him doing nothing and having these nothing feuds where everybody else, man. Send him after a championship, dude. He just beat Raju, a former X Division champion. Why is he not going after the X Division title? I don't know, man. I do not know, man. But yeah, send him after the title, bro. Send him after the championship. Not directly at the champion, but have him go through everybody to get to the championship. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that we had Morrissey. He had spoke backstage. He was backstage. He spoke to Scott D'Amore. And so yeah, so Morrissey, he wants a match. He wants a match against Rich Swann. And so Morrissey, he was like, you know what's funny? You know, Rich Swann, he also came to me and told me that he wants a match against you. And so yeah, so D'Amore says that the match is next. The match against you and Rich Swann is next. And so yeah, and then he ended up so D'Amore, he said that you know he loved the idea with Rich Swann and Rich Swann and Morrissey, and then he ended up saying, and you can't teach that. So that shades to Enzo and Cass, their catchphrase that they use in WWE, that you can't teach that. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so yeah, that was the match later on tonight. And so yeah, we had a vignette or a video backstage, a backstage segment with Rosemary. She had spoke, and she's the #1 contender for the Knockouts Championship. And so yeah, she said that she will bring back the Knockouts Championship to the dark side. And so yeah, she was talking about Deonna Purrazzo and all that stuff, and then Havoc had interrupted her, saying that she wants the Knockouts Championship too. Why? I don't know. But yeah, they both agreed to a match. If Havoc could beat Rosemary next week, then Havoc will be added to the match, to the championship match and all that stuff. And that was it with that. So it was a match next week with Rosemary and Havoc. And if Havoc wins the match, she'll be added to the championship match. So that means it would be a triple threat match. And so I was like, dude, why? Like, why is she getting another title shot when she lost already? Like, dude, she had a match already. What was it, at Under Siege? It was at Under Siege, and she lost. She lost to Deonna Purrazzo for the championship. She beat her fair and square. 1, 2, 3. Havoc does not need another championship match. She does not need another championship match, dude. She already had a championship match and she lost. So no more championship match. She needed to go in the back of the line. Go in the back of the line. And so yeah, that was it with that. Havoc doesn't deserve a championship match because she already lost already, man. And so yeah, so right after that we had a match. It was supposed to be a match between Rich Swann and Morrissey. And so yeah, so Rich Swann, he had came out to the ring first. Yeah, he had came out to the ring first, and then he came out to the ring dancing and all that stuff. And I was like, dude, come on, man, stop with all the dancing, dude. Like, dude, you're in a feud with Morrissey, a guy that took you out. You want to come out dancing? I don't know, man. I need a serious Rich Swann, man. He could dance he could dance every once in a while, but he come out every match dancing, where he just need to come out and walk to the ring, because he's in a few of a rivalry with Morrissey. So yeah, so while Swann was making his entrance, you had Morrissey. He just came from behind. He walked from behind, from the barricade, came out from the back, and you saw like a picture of him. You saw not a picture of him, but you saw him from a distance, and he was walking towards Rich Swann from behind, and he attacked Rich Swann from behind. And so yeah, so Swann, he tried fighting back, but it wasn't working at all. And we had a big boot to Swann, and the security tries to separate Morrissey from Swann, and then Morrissey had attacked the security guards, and then Willie Mack had came out and hit Morrissey with a chair, and then Morrissey, he had no sold the chair shot. And the securities, they continued to try to separate both Morrissey and Mack. And so yeah, Morrissey, he had left the ring. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so there's gonna be a match. It's gonna be Morrissey versus Rich Swann at I think it's at what is it? Against All Odds? Or I think I got it backwards. He's facing somebody next week, and he's facing another person, facing another guy at Against All Odds. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that we had a backstage segment. It was Racheal Ellering and Tenille Dashwood with Kaleb. They were backstage. First, Racheal Ellering, she was backstage getting ready for a tag team match with Jordynne Grace. And you had Tenille Dashwood and Kaleb had interrupted. And, you know, Tenille Dashwood again trying to tag team with these ladies. You know, since everything didn't work out with her and Taylor Wilde, she tried to team up with Ellering and all that stuff. And so, yeah, Jordynne Grace, she had interrupted. You know, she wanted to know why Tenille Dashwood and Kaleb were there and all that stuff. And then Tenille Dashwood, she was like, you know, I wanted to see if Racheal Ellering wanted to come to my show next week because, of course, you guys are going to win the Impact Knockouts tag team titles. So I want the champions on my show. And so, yeah, so she was basically lying. She was lying. She didn't say nothing like that. And so, yeah, so Dashwood and Kaleb, they had wished Jordynne Grace and Racheal Ellering a good luck to that tag team championship match. And that was it with that. And so, yeah, so that was a match later on tonight. Racheal Ellering and Jordynne Grace versus Fire and Flava. And so, yeah, so right after that, we had a backstage segment with Brian Myers, the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers and Sam Beale.
The most professional wrestler, Brian Myers, presents How to Be a Professional.
How to Be a Professional.
Chapter 1, Presentation.
So we got Chapter 1. So how many chapters do we have? I don't know, but this is Chapter 1. Let's see what we have. Presentation. So I'm guessing, yeah, the presentation is the look.
So this is it?
Is it, man?
Is your look, kid?
Yeah, this is what I got.
Okay.
Sam Beale and Brian Myers.
Some things I'm a little worried about here. I mean, is this a miniature scarf? Two
Scarf.
sunglasses, a happy trail, and oh man, we already talked about these tattoos. They're a little misplaced. You got a decent build. We don't want to
Oh, man.
too much, but
It's the one thing you don't want to talk about is nobody tattoos, man. They chose the tattoos, and tattoos is a part of, you know, if a person chooses a tattoo is a part of their life.
we can showcase it with this official Brian Myers t-shirt available at shopimpact.com.
So you try to do a cheap plug with the t-shirt.
Woo! Much improvement. Look, you're listening to me already, kid. It's
Yep.
all about the presentation. We're in a very cosmetic business. Big improvement. You know what's next?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to see your entrance.
Entrance.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. Like right now?
Yeah, right now.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah! Whoa!
What was that?
What are you doing? Rewind that back a little bit.
What was that?
Oh, God, that! No! Never do that again. Never. What are you doing?
I'm smelling my perm product.
Do you think I'm an idiot, Sam?
Ah, man.
This needs a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of
First
work,
off,
bro.
Who do you think you are, Andre the Giant? You didn't even have music.
Trying to pull off a Andre the Giant and a Tommaso Ciampa. Because Tommaso Ciampa, he used to come out to no theme music. So you try to pull off a Tommaso Ciampa and Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant.
Watch and learn a professional entrance.
So yeah. So Brian Myers played his entrance music. I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna get copyrighted if I play the music. But yeah, you guys can listen for the theme music yourself. So yeah, he came out to the entrance. He did his little stuff, the mask.
I know, right?
Bro, why are you wearing the mask? I thought you had both shots.
It's not that kind of mask, Sam.
Oh my God, man, this dude.
We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, really do. And that was it, man. That was it with that, you know. So Brian Myers trying to teach Sam Beale, so he taking him under his wing. And what better person, man? What better person to be trained by than Brian Myers, man? This is the same guy that trained MJF, bro. The same guy that trained MJF. So who's better? Who's better to train? Who's better to be trained by than Brian Myers, man? And so yeah, Sam Beale, he needs a lot of work. He needs a lot of work, man. And Brian Myers is gonna help him out with that. So yeah, so chapter 1 was the presentation. I wonder what chapter 2 is, man. Very, very intrigued, man, on what chapter 2 would be. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that we had Gia Miller she interviews Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, who is the Impact Knockouts Women's Champion.
Deonna Purrazzo, I just got word from Impact Management that Havoc and Rosemary will face off next week. And if Havoc is able to defeat Rosemary, the Knockouts title match at Against All Odds will become a triple threat.
That's not fair, man. Not fair.
I guess this really is Against All Odds, isn't it, Gia?
Yep. Look at yep, the name.
Absolutely absurd.
Yeah. You're right.
I had to place a bet myself. I bet Impact Management thinks there's nothing more exciting than to see a new champion crowned.
Yep.
But guess what?
What?
I've already defeated Havoc
Right.
one-on-one. I've already defeated Rosemary one-on-one. And honestly, neither of them did anything.
Nothing, bro.
To earn the right to contend for my Knockouts Championship.
That's right. Yeah. Nothing.
Age of the virtuosa, and my empire will not fall just yet. It doesn't matter if I walk into Against All Odds against Havoc and Rosemary, or just Rosemary herself.
Yeah.
The odds will forever be in the virtuosa's favor.
Yep. Tell him. That's right. So yeah, man. So yeah, that was it with that. You know, I agree, man. I agree 100% with Deonna Purrazzo, man. It should not be a triple threat match. No. Havoc didn't do anything to get a championship match. Rosemary didn't either. Well, if you want to say Rosemary, I guess you can say that she pinned Deonna Purrazzo in that tag team match, that nothing tag team match from last week. I guess you could say that. But still, though, they don't deserve a championship match, especially Havoc. No. But yeah. So Deonna Purrazzo, I think she will get involved in this match next week. You know, so it could be a one-on-one match. You know, she might, she's going to screw over Havoc. So she won't make it to Against All Odds. And so yeah, that was it with that, man. It should just be a one-on-one match. It should just be Rosemary and Purrazzo. But even though if it's a triple threat match, Deonna Purrazzo should win. Because there's not a person on that roster that will ever take that championship off of her, man, unless they bring somebody else in. But right now, man, nobody is taking that title off of Deonna Purrazzo, man. Nobody. And so, yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, we had a championship match, and it was for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships. And so, yeah, it was Jordynne Grace and Racheal Ellering versus Fire and Flava, who are the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions. That's Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan. So, yeah, this was one of the best matches on this show tonight, man. This match, the main event with Moose versus Callihan, and the opening match with TJP and Josh Alexander. This is a good, really good match on this show. And so yeah, so both of these teams, Grace and Steelz, they try to one up each other. And then Grace, she had used her power against Steelz, and she had a spine buster on Steelz. And then we had a running senton bomb to Steelz from Ellering. And so yeah, Steelz, to take control of the match, we had Steelz. She had used Racheal Ellering's headband that she wears to the ring, as a weapon to choke her, which is legal. It's not an illegal move. It's legal. And so yeah, so Fire and Flava, they took control of the match. At that point, we had a running corner drop kick to Grace from Hogan, and we had a hot tag to Grace. She had a power bomb on Hogan, and then she hit a running corner elbow to Hogan, and that was nice too, explosive one, man. And then Grace, she hit a Vader bomb to Hogan. And then Racheal Ellering, I think, when Grace had went for that running elbow, I think Racheal Ellering, I think she had tagged herself in, or she got tagged in. And then, but Grace, she didn't know about it, so that's the first miscommunication in this match. And so yeah, so Racheal Ellering, she had a spinning diving leg drop to Hogan. And so yeah, so Grace, she wasn't happy about it. And so she was arguing with the referee and all that stuff. And so while Grace was arguing, you had Tasha Steelz, she had hit a cold breaker on Ellering. And so yeah, Fire and Flava had to control of that part of the match. And so Ellering and Grace ended up fighting back. We had a muscle buster into a power bomb from Grace and Ellering to Tasha Steelz. So that was a nice spot in this match. And then Steelz had kicked out of the move. I thought that was it, man. Really thought that was it. And so yeah, we had a crucifix bomb to Grace from Steelz, the same move that Grace and Ellering lost to. And so Ellering, she had broke up the pin, so she knew what was about to happen. So she broke up the pin. And so yeah, so we had a DDT to Ellering from Steelz on the floor, on the outside floor. And so we had double team moves to Grace. And then Hogan, she had locked on a sleeper hold on Grace. And then Grace, you try to fight out of the sleeper hold. And in the end of the match, we had a frog splash. We had a frog splash to Grace from Tasha Steelz while Grace was locked in the sleeper hold to win the match. So that was it. That was it. And Fire and Flava wins the match and are still the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions, man. Really good match, man. Really good match. The ending was really good, man. When you had Kiera Hogan locking the sleeper hold on Jordynne Grace, and Tasha Steelz just came out of nowhere and hit a frog splash right on top of Jordynne Grace while she was locked in the submission move. That was really nice, man. Really nice. And you know, when is the heel turn? When is the heel turn from Jordynne Grace? When is the heel turn? You know it's coming, dude. You know it's coming because she, time and time again, she lost. When is the heel turn gonna come? It needs to happen, man. Because I don't think Jordynne Grace has ever been a heel in Impact. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know if she ever been a heel, but she needs to turn heel ASAP, man. Like right now, man. They need to do something with her because she re-signed with Impact Wrestling, so you gotta have plans for her, man. You know. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that we had Sami Callihan, the draw. Sami Callihan, he had spoke. He was talking about Moose, and he said that he's gonna beat Moose tonight. And you know, he was talking about Kenny Omega and how he's sick and tired of Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. And so yeah, Don Callis, he had interrupted Callihan while he was talking about Moose and Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. And you know, he said that Callis, he had said that he's going to be in Sami Callihan's corner tonight in the main event against Moose. And so Sami Callihan, he was not buying it at all. He was not buying it. And so yeah, so Sami Callihan, he had told Don Callis to get out of here, get out of here, get out of my sight. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so right after that, we had a vignette, and they showed somebody drinking. I don't know what type of drink it was, but they showed that person drinking, and he had his foot on the table and all that stuff, and we saw his face, and it was Steve Cutler, the former Forgotten Son member, Steve Cutler. And so now he's calling himself Macklin. I think Steve Macklin or just Macklin. So that's Steve Cutler, the former Forgotten Son member, Steve Cutler. And what exactly he's gonna do in Impact Wrestling, I don't know. Where is Wesley Blake? His former, his tag team partner in the Forgotten Sons, Wesley Blake. I'll wait for him. So that's what I'll do. I'll just put them together, man. Put him and Wesley Blake together, and have them go after the tag team titles, man, in Impact Wrestling, because they were great together, man. They were a great tag team in the Forgotten Sons. They meshed well together, dude. They were great tag team partners, dude. And they should have been NXT tag team champions, but they haven't. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, that was it with the vignette from Steve Cutler. There were rumors saying that somebody was teasing a return or was teasing a debut on Impact Wrestling. So that person was Steve Cutler, former WWE star. And so yeah, so right after that we had Fire and Flava. They were backstage. And they were celebrating their victory and all that stuff. And yeah, they came across Scott D'Amore, who was in his office. They knocked on his door. He came out, and they were celebrating, saying that we are the tag team champions. We are the most dominant knockouts tag team champions and all that stuff. We have beaten everybody. Nobody can beat us. And then D'Amore, he was like, "Oh, nobody can beat you, really? Or you beating everybody, really?" And then he said that you haven't beat these two ladies. And so it was Kimberly and Susan. They came out, and so they challenged them. They challenged Kiera, Hogan, and Tasha Steelz to a tag team match for the tag team titles. And I was like, dude, what? I was like, what? Why are we handing out championships match? Why are we handing out title matches? They done nothing, dude. They have done nothing as a tag team to get a championship match. Why are they getting a title match? When they lost the last match they were in, they lost, right? They lost. And they just giving you just gonna give them a championship match for doing nothing, dude? Oh my God, man. And then they made it official. They made it official at Against All Odds. It's gonna be Kimberly and Susan versus Fire and Flava for the tag team titles, which don't make any sense at all. No sense. But yeah, that was it with that, man. Really, really, really not a fan of it, man. People getting title opportunities just like that. And so yeah, right after that we had a match, and it was Deonna with Violent by Design, Eric Young, Rhino, and Joe Doring versus Kojima. So yeah, there really wasn't much to this match. So yeah, both of these guys, they were going back and forth. We had rapid chops to Deonna, and we had a diving elbow to Deonna, and we had a neck breaker to Kojima, and he kicked out. And Kojima hit a brain buster to Deonna. I love the brain buster, man. And then Violent by Design, they tried to interfere in the match. It was Joe Doring and Rhino, they tried to get involved in the match. And then Deonna, he tried to get Joe Doring in the ring. And so Joe Doring, he tried to get inside the ring, but Eddie Edwards had stopped him. And so yeah, so we had Kojima, he had the Koji Cutter to Deonna. And yeah, followed up with a lariat to Deonna to win the match. So Kojima wins the match. And that was it. You know, it was nothing more than a warm-up match for Kojima. And there was no way that Kojima was losing, because he's going up against Joe Doring against all odds. And Joe Doring, of course, he needs to win. You're not gonna have Joe Doring lose, man. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, you had Moose. He was backstage. He had spoke about Sami Callihan. And then Don Callis, again, just like what he did with Sami Callihan earlier, he had interrupted Moose. And, you know, trying to suck up to Moose, just like what Callis did to Sami Callihan earlier. And by saying that, I'm going to be in your corner tonight against Sami Callihan. And then, you know, Callis, he was talking trash about Sami Callihan and all that stuff. And then Moose, he had stopped, you know, he had cut, you know, Don Callis off, saying that, dude, I stopped listening to you once you started speaking to me. And I already know what you're trying to do. And, you know, here's what you need to do, man. You need to tell Kenny Omega to shine that title up real nicely for me. Have him shine up that championship nice for me. And so that was it with that. And so yeah, that was it. And so right after that, we had a backstage segment from Violent by Design. Eric Young, Rhino, Deonna, and Joe Doring, who are the Impact Tag Team Champions.
Failure is something we can get past.
Failure. Yep.
Failure is something we can move forward from.
Yes.
But what we can't move forward from is you, Eddie Edwards.
Yep.
You cost Deonna the match against Kojima. I'm holding you personally responsible.
Yeah, Decay interrupted. Crazy Steve and Black Taurus, they interrupted Violent by Design while they were speaking. The same thing that they did last week.
It would appear that your design is flawed. And as for failure, it looks like Deonna is going to pay the price once again, huh? What new punishment do you have in store?
I got it. You should know better. I trained you.
Yeah, let Eric Young speak. You do not need to speak. Let Eric Young speak. That's why he is there. Let him talk.
To know better. You disrespect him. You disrespect me. Big mistake.
Yep.
Big mistake.
Big mistake, man. Yep.
You chose him, huh? You chose him. Handpicked. Well, if that's your choice, fearless leader, then why don't you put some responsibility on him? Better yet, why don't you put some responsibility around his shoulder in the form of those tag team championships. Tag team titles that Decay has held without your leadership. What I'm suggesting, at Against All Odds, Violent by Design versus Decay.
Decay. Oh. Uh-oh. Done. That was it. That's it. My God, man. These people are crazy, man. So yeah, that was it with that. So yeah, they're getting a tag team match. Now, Decay, they've been on the end of the losing stick too. So I don't know why they're getting a championship match either. But last week they did win their match against, who was it? Johnny Swinger and Hernandez. So I guess that's why they're getting a championship match. But they haven't been winning though. They still haven't been winning. And so yeah, so it's gonna be Decay, Black Taurus, and Crazy Steve versus Violent by Design. So there's gonna be Deonna. It's gonna be Deonna and Rhino. Of course, Joe Doring, who will have a match against Kojima at Against All Odds. So it's a Freebird rule. The Freebird rule with the Violent by Design guys. So it's a Freebird rule. rule. So yeah, so that was it with that. And so right after that was the main event, which was the other best match on the show, and it was Moose, the wrestling god Moose versus the Draw, Sami Callihan. So yeah, we had a pump kick to Moose, and Moose had no sold it. We had a oh yeah. First off, let's get into next week's show. So yeah, next week's show is gonna be Havoc versus Rosemary, and the winner of that match will be added to the triple threat. I mean, to the championship match. I mean, if Havoc wins, she'll be added to the championship match. And against all odds is gonna be Rich Swann versus W Morrissey. And then next week we have W Morrissey versus Willie Mack. So that's what it was. We have the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match. It's gonna be Kiera, Hogan, and Tasha Steelz. Fire and Flava will be defending their tag team titles against Kimberly and Susan. And we have Kojima versus Joe Doran, one half of the Impact Tag Team Champions. I was about to say Knockout Champions. He's definitely not a knockout. So yeah, and then we have Kenny Omega, Kenny by God Omega, who is the Impact World Champion and the AEW World Champion, versus the Wrestling God Moose at Against All Odds. And then we just had another match added. It's gonna be a fatal 4-way number one contenders match at Against All Odds. It's gonna be Petey Williams, Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, and Rohit Raju. And at that point, I was like, dude, why is Rohit Raju in this match? Why wasn't Jake added in that match? Jake beat Rohit Raju, so why isn't Jake in this match? That should be Jake's spot and not Rohit Raju. And I like Rohit Raju, man. I like Rohit Raju, but he does not need to be in that match. He lost tonight. He lost. And then we have that was it. The Tag Team Championship match, Rhino and Diener of Violent by Design versus Crazy Steve and Black Taurus. So those are the matches for next week, and the 2 matches for next week, and the rest of the matches Against All Odds. So yeah, so the main event was Moose, the Wrestling God, versus the Draw, Sami Callihan. So yeah, so Moose hit a pump kick to, Callihan hit a pump kick to Moose, and Moose had no sold the move. We had a tope suicida to Moose, and we had a pump kick to Callihan. We had a power bomb to Callihan on the ring apron, and then Moose tried to go for the cannonball outside the ring, but he crashed and burned into the steel barricade. And then Callihan, at that point, he started going after Moose's arm. And he targeted the arm the entire time. And so yeah, so Callihan, he had locked in a triangle arm hold or a triangle arm lock on the outside of the ring, and then the referee tried to break up the hold because you got to win the match inside of the ring and not outside of the ring. And so yeah, so Callihan, he had hit a Death Valley driver to Moose, which was really impressive, man. Really impressive. To pick up Moose and drop him with a Death Valley driver, man, it was really impressive, man. And so yeah, so Moose, he headbutts Callihan, because he tried to punch him, but he can't, so he went for the headbutts. The reason why he couldn't go for the punch was because of course the bad arm. And then Moose, dude, this is one of the best spots in this match, dude. Moose, he had leaped on the top rope. Well, first off, he ran to the corner of the ring. He had jumped to the top rope and just hit an explosive superplex to Callihan. Really beautiful, man. And so yeah, right after that, man, right after that spot, Sami Callihan, he was breathing. He was breathing in and out, and you saw the spit, that big whop of spit going in and out of his mouth. And dude, when I saw that, dude, I was about to throw up, man. That was really nasty. Really nasty. Instead of spitting out his spit, he sucked his spit back up in his mouth. That was nasty, man. Really nasty. And so yeah, so we had Moose. He had went for his other signature move or his other finishing move, the go to hell. What do you like to call it? He liked to call it the go to hell to Callihan. So he hit the go to hell to Callihan. And so yeah, so Callihan, he had hit the power driver. He had a power driver on Moose, and Moose had kicked out. So I thought that was it. There was no way he was kicking out of that power driver. I mean, he kicked out of it. And so yeah, so Callihan, he tried to go for the package power driver. But the Good Brothers had came out and interfered in the match, so the referee had called for the bell. And so yeah, so they beat up Callihan and Moose. The Good Brothers had hit the Magic Killer on Callihan, and then Don Callis and Kenny Omega walked out to the ring. Omega had gotten in the ring. He attacked Callihan and Moose. And so at that point, I was like, man, I knew the match was going to end that way. I knew the match was going to end that way because, none of these people should lose. Moose couldn't lose, and Sami Callihan couldn't lose. Moose, because he's the #1 contender, and you can't have the #1 contender lose. And Sami Callihan, you know, he lost last week in that tag team match. He got pinned in that tag team match last week against the Good Brothers when Moose and Callihan had teamed up last week. You know, Sami Callihan got pinned, so he could not lose again. So that's why they went with this ending. And so yeah, so right after they beat down Callihan and Moose, you had the Elite that had stood on the stage and they did their pose, the Elite pose, because they're the Elite. They're the Elite. And so right after that, they went to the back. You know, they spoke to Scott D'Amore, the general manager, or the EVP. Hallelujah. Say hallelujah. So they were celebrating in the back. Scott D'Amore.
Flashback to Under Siege where you guys went out and took
Yep.
Oh my God.
Sammy
Okay, the principal's office. You guys go hang out.
He said, "A principal's office."
Yeah, well, we'll just work this out. Just a couple of executives.
It's all right.
Big stars don't need to stick around for this.
See, now we get rid of the talent. We can talk business. That was some
Yeah.
good business.
Yeah,
right
talk
there.
some business, man.
Some big business.
Because now,
Yeah.
Sami Callihan just beat our #1 contenders. That means he's kind of in line for a title shot
that a
too. So,
victory?
Beat him.
I think what we need to do now.
So yeah, so Sami Callihan, technically he did beat Moose in a disqualification. You know, even though Moose didn't get pinned, technically Sami Callihan won the match because the Good Brothers had attacked Sami Callihan first. And so that's when the referee had rung the bell. So Sami Callihan was attacked first. So Sami Callihan had won by DQ.
It's the main event of Against All Odds. Maybe it should be a three-way. Maybe it should.
Yeah,
be
that's a
Kenny
great
Omega
idea.
defending against
Great idea.
Moose
Get these
and
ideas.
Sammy Callihan.
Where do you get these
It's a
ideas?
great idea, man. It's a great idea.
He just beat the #1 contender. That means he's in line.
Listen, look, we both know you like to just spout off about
Mm-hmm.
administration and stuff. We both know that you can't just do that. We both know
Mm-hmm.
that under the agreement with AEW, both sides have to agree, and we both
Yeah.
know, Scott D'Amore, that Tony Khan has got Sami Callihan on his blacklist, and there's no way that he's going to agree to let
He's gonna
Callihan
agree.
in a match. So, you know what? Like, the garbage match, wet dream, let's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
forget that.
First
Oh
and
man.
foremost,
Yeah.
I'm really proud that you actually read in one of our agreements.
Well, that's good.
That's good of you.
Well, I had someone read it.
Oh, of course you
Yeah.
did. It was
Yeah,
good
of course
you.
he did. You wasn't gonna read it
I'll
for
tell you what,
yourself.
I
Jimmy
kind of
Jacobs
thought
is good at that.
you might bring this up, so I kind of hit Tony up already, and he's
Oh,
gonna be here next week.
called
so,
up
so
TK?
we're gonna get to settle this. He'll be here.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're gonna see
Oh.
how we're gonna adjust this main event now that Sami Callihan just beat our #1 contender.
What are you going to adjust?
I think it's be a great three-way match.
Tony's coming here.
Yeah, he's gonna be here. And
Coming
I think
here.
Kenny versus Moose versus Sammy is an unbelievable match.
I thought we were a team.
And that was it. That was it with the main event, and that was it with the show. So yeah, so Tony Khan, the Forbidden Door, Tony Khan, he will be in Impact next week, man. He will be in Impact next week, and he's gonna address, you know, what happened in the main event tonight. And yeah, so the triple threat match is a great idea, man. It's a great idea. Great idea. Kenny Omega, man, he is in a lot of trouble, man. He was just in a triple threat match at Double or Nothing, and now he's gonna be in another triple threat match against All Eyes, because you know he's gonna make it a triple threat match. There's no way he's gonna say no. It's gonna be a triple threat match. It's gonna be Moose versus Sami Callihan versus Kenny Omega for the TNA World Champ for the Impact World Championship, and against All Eyes. That's what's gonna happen. And a triple threat match is gonna. The reason why the triple threat match is made is to protect Moose from losing clean. That's the reason why Sami Callihan is gonna be added to the match, is to protect Moose from losing clean, because Moose is not gonna lose. You know, because yeah, he will lose, but he's not gonna get pinned. That's the thing. He's not gonna get pinned. So Sami Callihan is gonna be the one that's gonna get pinned. And Kenny Omega is not gonna lose either. Kenny Omega is losing to nobody. He is not losing those titles to anybody, nobody. So Tony Khan, he will be on Impact next week. So that's big right now. It's really big. It's a big deal. And yeah, man. So against All Odds, it is coming up. What they said, June 12th or something like that. When is it? I think it's on June 12th. What day is that? Exactly. What day is it? That's Saturday. That's next week. That's next Saturday. So yeah. So against All Odds is next Saturday. So that was it, man. That was it with Impact Wrestling, the review for Impact Wrestling for June 3rd, 2021. on the Ryan Awesome Show. Yeah, man, that was it with Impact Wrestling, man. Overall, man, really good show. Fun show too, man. Fun show. A lot of great matches on this show. The women tag team title match and the Moose versus Sami Callihan and the Iron Man match. Those were the highlights of the show, man. And the build up to Against All Odds. And it turned out to be a really good show. And if you like this video, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell to be the first ones to know when my next video will come out, because I'm here each and every single week. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, and comment down below, man. Tell me how you felt about this episode of Impact Wrestling. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, man, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Friday for AEW Dynamite. So AEW, once again, is going to be on Friday night because of the NBA playoffs. So until the playoffs end, you know, Dynamite is going to be on Fridays for right now. So yeah, I'll see you guys on Friday. And if you missed my last week's episode, my last week's review for Impact Wrestling, the video is going to be right up here. And the link to that video will be down below in the description. So make sure you click on this video or click down below in the description, the link in the description if you missed it or if you want to check it out. And yeah, man, and once again, guys, thank you for the support. Thank you for the love and the support for the show. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys on Friday for AEW Dynamite. And yeah, man, and this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and that's that.